I wanted to start with a question for you guys. Have you ever Googled something when you had no business knowing what you were doing? Right? We've all kind of been there. That's exactly how I started Local Laundry. No background in fashion, no fashion sense, no funding, just a Google search, how to start a t-shirt company, and $50. Today, we're on a mission to donate $1 million to local charities by 2030 as a showcase that just because we're a small business doesn't mean we can't have a big impact. So today, I'm going to share those lessons with you, and by the end, my goal is that you will leave not just inspired, but with practical insights you can apply to your own journey. Well, I was a business student, much like yourself. I wanted to do what everyone does in the city when they want to make lots of money. I wanted to be in oil and gas. I did not know the first thing about oil and gas. I didn't know anything about oil and gas. I just knew that that's where you go in the city to make lots of money. So one day, my boss's boss comes in and he says, hey, Connor, can I come talk to you? I said, yeah, absolutely. You're the head honcho. I'd love to talk to you. What do you want to talk about? He's like, come, we'll have a little meeting. He's like, have a seat, Connor. I'm like, great. What do you want to talk about? And he's like, listen, Connor, we got to let you go. I was like, did I do something wrong? He's like, no, price of oil sucks. We're letting a couple people go. I was like, okay, letting go. Anything else? And he's like, no, you can go. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? So I decided to choose entrepreneurship because I wanted to create something meaningful, something that could change lives. Now, growing up, I watched my parents, who, if you couldn't already tell from my lovely ginger beard, are from Ireland. And what do all good Irish people do when they come to this country? They open an Irish pub. Their business wasn't just a source of income, but it was a place where people felt welcomed and connected. I learned that business could be more than a job. It could be a force for good. And I found myself with time, curiosity, and a deep desire to build something. So I did what any idiot does when they want to start a company. I Google searched how to make a t-shirt company. My wife, she moved with me to Sweden. I went back home and I said, babe, forget oil and gas. I got the next best thing. I figured out what we're going to do. I figured out what my life, my career. And she goes, that's amazing. What is it? I said, clothing. She's like, do you even have a name? And I was like, of course I got a name. Calgary Community T-shirts. Why are you laughing? She had the exact same reaction. She says, Connor, that's the dumbest name I've ever heard. And at the time, we lived in a little Swedish apartment, roughly the size of this stage here. And we had this little teeny tiny washing machine that was, about the size of this. And it lived in our shower. And every time we did a load of laundry, it would dance and shake all over the bathroom floor. So every time we had to do laundry, we would stuff this thing full of laundry. We'd sit on it, we'd punch it, we'd kick it, fight this thing just to get through a load. So she was in no mood for my antics. And I said, you come up with a better idea. She said, well, you want to come up with clothing, you want it to be about local, have some meaning, build community. She goes, why don't you call it Local Laundry? I said, babe, you've done it again. So my first designs, believe it or not, were on a website called Hipster Logo Generator. That was a real website. I think it's still around. It's like pre-Canva. We use Printful for print on demand. I had no idea how far this would go. I wanted to find something that mattered to me. And I was drawn to clothing because clothing, I feel, has an ability to express our values. How we decide to choose to dress ourselves, an expression of our values, and they're a way that we can connect with others, right? Hey, you're a Flames fan, I'm a Flames fan. Let's be friends, right? And so I really saw that clothing had this power. So from day one, Local Laundry was never, ever, ever, ever just about clothes. I wanted to build a brand that could connect on a deeper level. So we set on a mission. Right? We wanted to make something that mattered. We wanted to donate $1 million to local charities by 2030. This mission gave us purpose and direction in attracting people, our team, customers, and partners who believed in the same thing. We came up with 6 core values: relentless commitment to quality. We wanted to make clothing that people actually looked good, that felt good, that lasted a long time. We want to prioritize local impact. Right? We wanted to support local charities. We want to support local manufacturing. We wanted to be transparent about our ethics. We wanted to be driven by a purpose, and we wanted to give back for a better future, and we wanted to bring innovation to every single customer and client. These are our North Star. Customers want to support brands that align with their beliefs, and having a clear mission kept us focused, helping us grow beyond just products to something bigger, something meaningful. People don't buy products. That should be the first lesson that you take away. People don't buy products. What do they buy? They buy feelings. You all bought this certain level of clothes that you're wearing today because it made you feel a certain way. People also don't buy from companies. They buy from people that they can connect with, that they believe in, that share the exact same values. And so that's why community for us isn't just a strategy. Community is the foundation. We are nothing without our community. In the early days when I was in Sweden, I was reaching out to Canadians one by one through social media. Because that's how you build a community. It's one relationship at a time. Hey, what's your name? What do you do? What do you like? Check us out. We're local laundry. What do you think? You like it? Great. You don't like it? Tell us why. What do you do? How can we help you on your journey? Over and over and over and over again. Over time, you're going to build a community of people that will support you through thick and thin. These people, they became our advocates, helping us build this brand one rock solid relationship at a time. Business is just a series of relationships. You have relationships with your customers, your team, your manufacturers, your suppliers. We have relationships with our shipping guy. Every day, UPS, Randy comes and we say, hey, Randy, what's going on? How are you? And Randy, well, and he's cracking jokes and this kind of thing. That's a relationship. Our manufacturer, we are one of their smallest clients. But they tell us all the time, Connor, we love local laundry, we love what you're all about. I said, why do you love us? You know what they said? They say, you're the only customer of ours that say thank you. So today, community building is still at the core of what we do. For example, we have our Giving Toque initiative, where every time we sell one of our Canadian-made toques and socks, every one we sell, we donate one for one to a shelter in need. And this invites people into our mission, into what we're trying to do. Because people want to help, but sometimes they just need to be shown the path how. So growing our client base has followed the same approach. We didn't just target big organizations, we sought partners aligned with our values. A majority of our business comes from custom clothing. So we have our online store, e-commerce, that's great, but a majority comes from custom clothing. We've done stuff for the Hunter Hub. We've done stuff for big oil and gas companies, law firms, unions, banks, you name it. These clients, they trust us because they see our commitment to community, quality, and they see the purpose. Show that passion, let it sell. Passion is one of our biggest selling tools that we have in our back pocket. We started with retail. We were in 25 stores across Canada. We were in Marks, Below the Belt, Sporting Life, all these stores, and that was great, and we thought that was our path to growth. And then COVID started knocking at our door. All these stores closed. Orders stopped coming in. So we had to learn how to shift. So that's when we realized, okay, these large companies, banks, oil and gas companies, they all want quality clothing. They want to tell their story. They want Canadian-made products to represent their brand. And that's when we turned their need into a central part of our business. Well, what if instead of we stop selling in stores and we start selling to these corporate people, we start making custom clothing? Last 2 years have been very difficult. Students, you as students probably know it more than anyone. You don't have a ton of extra money to be buying $100 sweaters. Canadian made is great in theory when everyone got lots of money. Canadian made is expensive. So what happens when a big chunk of your consumer base don't have the money to buy your sweaters anymore? You have to figure out ways to adapt, which is why we acquired other brands like CDN and West, brands that still had great quality clothing, had a mission, had values, stood for something, but weren't necessarily made in Canada. So we could start offering a more budget-friendly option. Listen to your market. If your customers are saying, I love what you guys stand for, but I can't afford your product, and you start hearing that over and over again, something's got to change, right? You can't get stuck in the mud thinking, this is what got us here today. We're going to keep and stick to our guns and only do that moving forward. Now, custom is 80% of our revenue now. It's grown us to the point where we are now. That doesn't mean that that's going to be where we're going to continue to grow. We have other different strategies that we're implementing because custom might not be around. Who knows? Our growth journey took us from retail to custom to clothing acquisitions, and now we're scaling e-commerce to fuel even a greater reach. But here's the thing, we're a customer-funded business. We have no investors, no long-term debt. Every dollar we earn goes back into the business. Now we're pushing for a goal. We want to be able to do $10 million in revenue. We want to expand our team. We want to implement principles for accountability, scalability. Our vision is clear. I'm very heavily inspired by a fellow named Bernard Arnault. Anyone know who Bernard Arnault is? See a couple head shakes. Bernard Arnault is one of the richest men in the world. And he owns LVMH. What he did was he bought all these great brands that had great recognition but were struggling operationally. And he brought them in-house to leverage assets, share resources, and grow together. And that's exactly what we want to do with other clothing companies. So I just want to close with some final takeaway thoughts. Why did I choose entrepreneurship? Why did I choose to start my own small business? I'm not a millionaire by any means. I haven't made a ton of money that I would have had I stayed in oil and gas. I chose entrepreneurship because I wanted to create something that goes beyond profit, something that leaves a positive impact. I really believe that entrepreneurship is the greatest conduit for your passion in life. It's an expression of our passion in life. So local laundry isn't just a clothing brand, it's a mission, it's a movement, and most importantly, it's a community.